Haiti, the first Black Republic, is grappling with a devastating gang violence epidemic. This violence has permeated every aspect of life, creating an atmosphere of fear and uncertainty. Armed groups control vast territories, terrorizing citizens and paralyzing the nation. These gangs operate with impunity, often outgunning the police and other security forces. This crisis is not new. It is deeply rooted in Haiti's tumultuous history, marked by colonialism, political instability, and economic hardship. The legacy of exploitation and neglect has left deep scars on the nation. This essay delves into the complex origins of Haiti's gang violence, exploring its historical context and contemporary manifestations. By understanding the past, we can better grasp the present challenges. We will examine the factors contributing to this crisis, including weak state institutions, political manipulation, and socio-economic disparities. These elements have created a fertile ground for gangs to thrive. Finally, we will explore potential solutions, emphasizing the need for comprehensive approaches that address the root causes of this multifaceted challenge. Community engagement and international support are crucial. The current situation in Haiti is dire. Entire neighborhoods are under the control of gangs, making it difficult for ordinary citizens to go about their daily lives. Gangs control key infrastructure, including ports and roads, severely impacting daily life. This stranglehold on essential services exacerbates the suffering of the population. Kidnappings for ransom are rampant, targeting people from all walks of life. This has become a lucrative business for gangs, further destabilizing the country. Violence has displaced thousands, creating a humanitarian crisis within the country. Families are torn apart and many are forced to live in makeshift camps with little access to basic necessities. The Haitian people are trapped in a cycle of fear and uncertainty, desperate for peace and stability. Their resilience is tested daily as they navigate this harsh reality. Understanding the historical context of gang violence is crucial to developing effective solutions. The roots of this crisis are deep and complex, intertwined with the nation's past struggles. Haiti's history is a complex tapestry woven with threads of resilience, struggle, and external interference. The spirit of resistance has always been strong, but so have the challenges. From its colonial past to the present day, the nation has faced numerous challenges that have shaped its trajectory. Political turmoil, natural disasters, and economic hardships have all played a role. To comprehend the current gang violence, we must first delve into this historical context, tracing the roots of the crisis back to its origins. Only by understanding where we have been can we chart a path forward. Haiti's journey began under the brutal system of French colonial rule, a period marked by exploitation and suffering. The island, then known as Saint-Domingue, was a French colony built on the backs of enslaved Africans who were forcibly brought from their homeland. These enslaved people endured unimaginable cruelty on sugar plantations, generating immense wealth for France, making Saint-Domingue the richest colony in the Caribbean. The seeds of resentment and resistance were sown in this brutal system as the enslaved Africans yearned for freedom and dignity. The French Revolution of 1789, with its ideals of liberty, equality, and fraternity, reverberated across the Atlantic, igniting the Haitian Revolution. These revolutionary ideas inspired the oppressed to fight for their own liberation. In 1791, enslaved Africans rose in revolt, demanding freedom and an end to oppression. This uprising marked the beginning of a long and arduous struggle for independence. Led by Toussaint Louverture, a former slave turned brilliant military strategist, the Haitian Revolution became a beacon of hope for enslaved people worldwide. Louverture's leadership and vision were instrumental in the fight against the French forces. After years of bloody conflict, Haiti achieved independence in 1804, becoming the first Black Republic and a symbol of successful slave resistance. This historic victory was celebrated not only in Haiti, but also by oppressed people around the globe. However, the road to freedom came at a steep price. The revolution left deep scars on the nation and its people. The revolution devastated the island's infrastructure and economy, leaving behind a landscape of destruction and hardship. Furthermore, Haiti's independence was met with international hostility, particularly from France, which demanded exorbitant reparations for the loss of its colony. This demand was a heavy burden on the newly independent nation. This demand, coupled with the destruction wrought by the revolution, plunged Haiti into a cycle of debt and economic instability that would have long-lasting consequences. The young nation struggled to rebuild and find its footing in a world that was often hostile to its existence. The post-independence period was marked by political turmoil and economic hardship. Haiti's early leaders struggled to rebuild the nation and establish a stable government. Internal divisions, coupled with external pressures, led to a cycle of coups and political instability. This instability hindered economic development and perpetuated poverty, creating fertile ground for future unrest. Foreign powers, eager to exploit Haiti's resources and strategic location, often interfered in its internal affairs. They supported puppet leaders and manipulated political systems for their own gain. This external interference further destabilized the country and prevented the emergence of strong, independent institutions. The legacy of colonialism, including a plantation-based economy and reliance on a few export crops, left Haiti vulnerable to global market fluctuations. The country struggled to diversify its economy and reduce its dependence on foreign aid. This economic vulnerability exacerbated political instability, creating a vicious cycle that hampered Haiti's development. The lack of economic opportunities and widespread poverty fueled social unrest and created conditions conducive to the rise of armed groups. Section 4, Foreign Intervention, the U.S. Occupation and the Duvalier. The United States, driven by its own geopolitical interests, occupied Haiti from 1915 to 1934. This period marked a significant chapter in Haiti's history as the U.S. sought to control the Caribbean nation under the guise of bringing stability and order. The U.S. occupation, while claiming to bring stability, further undermined Haiti's sovereignty and exacerbated existing inequalities. The presence of foreign troops disrupted local governance and imposed foreign economic policies that favored American interest over Haitian welfare. Following the U.S. occupation, François Duvalier, a charismatic doctor, rose to power in 1957, ushering in a dark era of dictatorship that would last for decades. His ascent to power was marked by promises of social reform and national pride, but these quickly gave way to authoritarian rule. Duvalier, known as Papa Doc, established a brutal regime characterized by systematic human rights abuses, political repression, and the suppression of any opposition. His government was notorious for its use of violence and intimidation to maintain control. He cultivated a climate of fear and silenced dissent through the Tonton Macoutes, his ruthless paramilitary force that operated with impunity. The Tonton Macoutes were infamous for their brutality, often targeting anyone suspected of opposing Duvalier's rule. The Duvalier regime, while suppressing overt gang activity, planted the seeds for future violence by centralizing power, weakening state institutions, and creating a culture of impunity. This centralization of power meant that any opposition was swiftly and brutally dealt with, leaving a legacy of fear and mistrust. When Duvalier died in 1971, his son, Jean-Claude Baby Doc Duvalier, assumed control, continuing his father's repressive policies. Baby Doc's rule was marked by the same authoritarianism and corruption, further entrenching the Duvalier legacy. The Duvalier's legacy of authoritarianism, corruption, and human rights abuses cast a long shadow over Haiti, further eroding trust in government institutions and contributing to the conditions that would later fuel gang violence. The impact of their rule is still felt today as the weakened state institutions and culture of impunity they left behind continue to affect Haitian society. Section 5. Fractured Foundations, the Post-Duvalier Era and Political Volatility. The fall of the Duvalier dictatorship in 1986 sparked hope for democratic change in Haiti. However, the transition was fraught with numerous challenges. Years of repression and corruption had weakened state institutions, leaving a power vacuum that various groups, including former Tonton Macoutes, sought to fill. Political instability persisted with a series of coups, disputed elections, and fragile governments. This instability hindered the establishment of effective governance, the rule of law, and sustainable economic development. The lack of accountability and transparency fueled corruption, further eroding public trust in state institutions. Political actors often resorted to violence and intimidation to achieve their aims, creating a climate of fear and impunity. The failure to address the root causes of Haiti's problems, including poverty, inequality, and the lack of access to basic services, created a breeding ground for discontent and unrest. In this context of political turmoil and economic hardship, armed groups emerged, exploiting the power vacuum and preying on the vulnerable. These groups often had ties to political elites, who used them to advance their own interests and maintain control.